thinks Destiny will get washed in today's debate. Oh, awesome. I have to reset. Oh. I don't even know what I'm resetting. Hold on. As soon as I stepped away, I saw my power went out.
Biden is.
Oh, there we go. Okay. We're good. For like an hour. It was truly in the dark ages.
16 points. That's how much. 16 points. That's how much Joe Biden is down from when he barely won last time. So just stopping the bleeding, nowhere near good enough. Staying in place, nowhere near good enough. Yes, stop the bleeding, get him his legs under him, and then he's gonna pick up 16 miraculous points. This is so beyond over. Anyone still saying that Biden should be the nominee is.
Where's he getting the 16 points from?
Preposterous. Now I'm gonna have to go and do debates. I'm gonna do a debate with Destiny. You can check it out right here on the Young Turks channel at 5 o'clock Eastern on Saturday. And Joe Walsh, former Republican congressman, who I often agree with. But I don't know what the hell they're gonna say other than we're mental and we'd love to lose this election to Trump. That there's no defense of Biden if you want to beat Trump. But if you want to defer to authority and obey, then okay, you stick with Biden and go, we'll take the loss. In fact, we'll take a landslide because now he's losing non-swing states. John.
Well, I've been saying for some time, Cenk, that it definitely seems to be the case, and it always has been back to Hillary Clinton. Like when they feel like they've got their person, they don't want to let go. They sink their teeth in and they won't release it. And it's easy for us as outsiders, I think, to see that and criticize it, but we don't know if we would do the same thing if a progressive was the candidate. And the reason we don't know that is it's literally never been the case. It would be cool someday if it was, actually. But anyway, you talked about stemming the bleeding.
Okay. Stitch and Adam on why they don't talk to us anymore. Isn't this clip like a month old? Why is it getting reposted? Holy shit. I think I would kill myself if I had a partner that spoke like this. You correct yourself with the R word. Oh God, I would kill myself. Holy shit. I am cringing so fucking hard. Oh my God. Your son's laptop was truly femme hell. Okay. Do you even have a hard disagreement with replacing Biden? A hard one? Not really. I'm not like ultra principally opposed to it. I just don't think it would be a good idea. And I don't see there being like a secondary super strong candidate that could replace him. Did I read Chevron? No. Not the original one. Do you think Newsom would lose harder than current Biden? Is an anti-Trump sentiment strong enough for him to try at least? It's just not. It's generally just not that simple to swap in a whole new presidential candidate. But the historical counterfactuals are impossible here. So literally, no matter what happens, everybody's just going to have their thing. If you swap in a new candidate and he ends up losing horribly, people are just going to say it's because they should have swapped him earlier, or the DNC wasn't behind him, or whatever. Like, it just doesn't. Yeah. All the conversation around this is AIDS. I think my debate is at 5, not 6. Wait, hold on one second. Ooh. Oh. Okay. All right. How we do it today? On Breaking Points, RFK expressed interest in getting the Dem nomination. Thoughts? I have no thoughts. I will never have thoughts about RFK. He is a joke candidate. I don't know what you want me to say about him. There is no intelligent person that supports RFK as a candidate. They're either somebody that is mentally ill, is experiencing psychosis, or was just fucking retarded. I'm sorry, there are no intelligent RFK supporters. I don't understand the question whatsoever. Never seen a video of RFK saying anything insightful, sounding intelligent, having any good take on. I mean, I'm sure he has like incidentally like policy positions we agree on, but he just. Okay. Well, Envy, thanks for the 250, whatever the fuck those are. Cenk recently interviewed RFK if you're interested. This? 12 days ago, 1 day ago?
It's from Super Chat. Jonathan Andron wrote in, Jenks, I just called myself Jenks. Okay, Cenk, it makes no sense to continue to press for another Democratic nominee who will maintain the status quo while RFK Jr. has a real opportunity to win this thing and to get money out of politics. Jonathan, I don't know any host on the left that has been fair to RFK Jr. at all, period. A single one, let alone as fair as me.
Like, I'm sorry, I just won't take these people seriously. Like we're gonna spend like 5 days like in the most soy face possible talking about Biden's debate performance. Meanwhile, RFK, I don't think anybody's giving him a fair shot. The guy who literally had brainworms die of starvation in his skull. That guy.
So I'm telling you his downsides. I'm telling you his upsides. No one ever tells you his upsides, but I'm not going to hide his downsides. So the reality is he has both of those, and I don't know what to do with them, right? So, but as I said last night, I got enough balls to say I'm considering him, which is like in my world that's heresy. Like in my circles they'll burn me at the stake for saying I'm considering RFK Jr. Okay, but I am, because his housing is better, his defense is better, his money in politics is way better. And I say, if you give me a random American,
All of the RFK shit is because he's a Kennedy. None of it is just the anti-establishment shit. It's the usual anti-establishment, retarded, like this dumbest fucking shit in the world. As long as you're willing to blame like every single bad thing on the establishment and say it's all like a giant deep state conspiracy or whatever, like you'll get support from people like this.
American, I'll
DMT, yeah, every single day.
Take them over Biden or Trump, because I know I'm going to get wall-to-wall corruption with Biden and a wall-to-wall lunacy and potential fascism with Trump. So I'll take a rando. At least they're not crooked, right? They're going to be honest. Maybe they're the right, left, or whatever, but at least they're not going to be crooks. So if I'll take a rando, will I take RFK Jr. over these two clowns? I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. But so if you're in the camp of hating me for that, now go ahead and hate me. If you're in the camp of saying, no, you should have already made up your mind and support him, go ahead and hate me for that. Or just let's all try to figure this thing out together. Okay. Maybe super last thing. Jordan, maybe I'm stating it wrong, because you know things online better than I do, to be honest. Is there anyone on the left that's saying, yeah, maybe we should look at RFK Jr.?
No, nobody that I really see. I think he's mostly seen as a kind of a crank conspiracy theorist. I mean, some of the stuff he says is just so ludicrous, right? He's blaming.
Oh, who's this guy? Wait, I thought they fired everybody that could put together like a coherent thought at the Young Turks. Is he a guest or?
Big farm.
Or is he about to say, despite all of this, RFK is still a really good candidate? Wait, hold on, he still has time to nosedive. 1 second. Oh yeah, did you? Thank God. You know what? At least we have a principled leader like RFK, who's not going to take a side on partisan issues like 9/11. What's up? Good. I'm glad. You'll hear me all the time. Get the fuck used to it. Fuck, where is this tweet?
Oh yeah, I put the Mountain Dews in the fridge for you.
Not for me. I don't drink that. Gross.
No, well, you didn't actually put it away.
It's because I'm not drinking it. What's the beef between you and PF Young? I don't think we have any beef. I don't think so. My take on 9/11. It's hard to tell what is a conspiracy theory and what isn't, but conspiracy theories flourish when the government routinely lies to the public. As president, I won't take sides on 9/11 or any of the other debates. What does that mean? Oh.
I think he's mostly seen as a kind of a crank conspiracy theorist. I mean, some of the stuff he says is just so ludicrous, right? He's blaming big pharma for school shootings. He blamed antidepressants for school shootings. That's not true. Like he has, you brought it up to him. He has, I think, a totally incoherent stance on how to address climate change. You want a free market response to climate change?
Who is this guy? Who is this guy? What? Oh man.
But also the corporations that are in that free market and operating in that free market have completely captured the regulatory agencies designed to address climate change. There are so many things, of course, like the January 6th sympathies to insurrectionists, hiring a J6er, just it goes. Not to mention, of course, being almost completely.
That's Jordan Ohl. Oh God, this guy is so horrible. Oh man. This is consistently one of the worst accounts on all of Twitter. And even he has a good take on RFK. Even he understands how deeply unserious RFK is as a candidate. What is happening?
Not to mention, of course, being almost completely anti-vax. I could never bring myself to support him.
I don't know that that's a ba-dum-bum, but okay. Maybe it's a different sound effect. Look, I think his vice president is even worse on vaccines, the vice presidential candidate, like to the point where it's super awkward. But I would actually, now you got me defending him a little bit.
Wait, what?
Is even worse on different sound effect. Look, I think his vice president is even worse on vaccines, the vice presidential candidate, like to the point where it's super awkward.
Hit RFK's vice presidential candidate? I don't even know who the fuck that is. Or can you be worse than RFK on vaccine? I guess you could try to make him illegal. Who?
But I would actually, now you got me defending him a little bit. Like he says free market, but that's the problem with RFK Jr., which is when he says free market on the climate change stuff, and then I press him on it, he says, well, free market, except I would make them pay their externalities, which is not free market. That's massive regulation saying.
I don't even know. An externality is when a particular transaction has an effect that's not accounted for within the market itself. Just because you're regulating like an externality or you're making an externality actually have a cost of the market doesn't mean it's not the free market anymore. Unless when you say free market, you literally mean unrestricted, unbridled capitalism with absolutely no regulations, checks, or government intervention whatsoever, which is like the.
Hey, if you're polluting or you're doing things that are adding to climate change, I'm going to increase your costs dramatically, which is actually the most extreme, but in a positive way, climate change proposal. But I don't know which one he actually means. That's one part of my issue. If I thought he really meant I'm going to enforce their externalities on them, that would probably tip me over and I would vote for him. Do you see why that would be way more left than anything that anybody else is proposing?
Isn't that literally the Obama cap and trade or carbon taxes? That's what that is, literally. How is it way more to the left than anything else?
That would be way more left than anything that anybody else is proposing?
If he was telling the truth, though. So I think the problem with him is he says what he thinks the person he's talking to wants to hear. That's one example. Abortion is another example. Him and Shanahan have completely changed their stances multiple times on abortion. They've ranged from no restrictions in one interview, and then when pressed on it, oh no, there would be restrictions. Then it was varying numbers of weeks in the pregnancy where they would enforce a restriction. And at one point, a reporter asked, "Hey, there's no real clear plan in your platform, on your website about your abortion stance. What is it?" And he goes, "You tell me. What should it be?" Like, I just don't trust him at all. I think he's a politician who is saying anything he can to increase his support. He's not going to get elected. I mean, he can't. He doesn't have the math is not there. So it seems like a wasted vote.
I don't know about a couple of things you said, Jordan. I hear you.
Like what?
So number one, on abortion, you're totally right that he's all over the map and that he's doing it on purpose to try to appeal to both sides. But he did land on Roe v. Wade, right? So I read it because I had to get ready for the interview, et cetera. So Shanahan said things that weren't Roe v. Wade, and then he came in and clarified and said, okay, basically the Roe v. Wade standard, okay? So I'll take it, but I'm worried because he's all over the map and he's trying to please everyone. I get it, right? And in terms of whether he could win, he was at 20 points. But man, they got to just, if they give him town halls and he gets to make his case and he says some of the things like, hey, you know what, on housing, I'm not going to let the private equity guys buy the houses. That is going to be supernova popular, okay?
Literally nobody cares. Private equity buying homes is a reason for increased cost of housing. Is one of the dumbest talking point red flags ever. The amount of purchasing that like private equity or any of these people are even doing in the housing market is minimal at best. The idea that all the houses are so expensive because private equity is buying it is such a tired talking point.
And then can he get past 20 points? Yeah, especially when one of the candidates is barely alive. So I don't know. So, but yeah, I asked, hey, is anyone on the left even, considering him like I am? And apparently the answer is no. So there you go. I'm the fairest guy on the left. Okay. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below because that makes you a member.
Jesus.
Aren't meant.
He's fucking dying. But when he says that he's often correct, what was he correct on? I don't even know. He says so many different things. I'm sure that he's correct on some of them. Like, arguably, one of the biggest memes is that the gay frogs thing technically was something that is correct, but nobody knows the origination. Even I don't know where that comes from. Supposedly, there's some chemical that can leak into water that will change the chromosomes or the sexuality, or it might just be the gender of some fucking, like that was technically a correct thing. But I'm pretty sure that was part of a wider conspiracy he was making. But like, yeah, I mean, if you assert enough like crazy shit, you're gonna be right on a few things.
How come?
Thank God we brought in the expert, the comedian guy, Dave Smith. Thank God we have expert comedians that we can bring on to give us the origination of the Ukraine-Russian war. Thank God. I hope it started with the 2014 U.S.-backed coup.
Of the state knows about the Maidan coup, that the United States got in bed with right-wing Nazis in Ukraine to overthrow a democratically elected government.
Oh, he literally did. Oh, okay. I was being a little bit facetious, but okay. My bad.
And then
Norway, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland all border Russia. Wait, is that Does Poland border Russia? Google Maps, Poland. Wait, is this like a cheating thing because of that one weird place, or? Okay, just making sure there wasn't some huge part of the map here that wasn't in my head.
The most successful country in all of Africa. The guy created the eighth wonder of the world with the way how he delivered water and all the time. It's the domino theory.
Gaddafi come into power. My understanding is everybody hated, like, Gaddafi was not a good guy. Maybe before Gaddafi, maybe it was good. Did the U.S. support Gaddafi come into power? I don't know Libyan history. I don't even know how to spell this guy's name. From 1969, Jesus, onwards. Human Development Index, Libya. People are saying it was a high rate of literacy. Can I see it historically? Is 1.0 your theoretical max or whatever? I guess Libya was improved. This goes from 0.72 to 0.78. What's the HDI for, say, Egypt? It was 0.73. All right, maybe Libya was a decent country. What is a petrodollar? Is there a requirement to trade oil in dollars? I think my understanding is that when people are, I don't remember if there's a requirement. I don't think there's a requirement for this. Maybe they just do. If you talk to a Western cuck, okay, like myself, if there is some commodity that you want to trade, let's say, for instance, a barrel of oil, okay? If there is a commodity that you want to trade, you might have a currency, okay? I shouldn't use a dollar symbol. We'll just use C for currency, and they might have a currency. And a few things are happening, I think, when you're buying and selling oil, okay? So at any point in time, your currency could go down and your currency could go up, okay? You have no idea. And your buyer or seller or the person who's buying from you, their currency could, or the person who's, yes, buying from you, their currency could go up and their currency could go down. So what happens is if you want to make a sale, let's say that you have a whole bunch of this commodity, okay? We'll call it oil. You got a whole bunch of this commodity and you want to sell it to some country. You get into a weird world where it's like, okay, well, I could sell it to them, but I don't really want to hold a bunch of their currency. It's just, I don't know if it's that stable. So if I sell a whole bunch of oil to this country and then they pay me back in their currency and I don't understand the stability of it, what I probably want to do is I probably want to like swap this currency out to something that's more stable. And generally speaking, people view the United States dollar as the world reserve currency, meaning that it's the most stable currency. And people think that barring apocalyptic hell, the United States is still going to be here to honor their dollars and to honor their treasury bonds. So I think what happens is when people are buying and selling oil, all of it ends up being demarcated in USD. So now if you're buying or selling, everybody basically trades into dollars, I believe, or trades via like US bonds or something first. So every sale that you make is ultimately notated. And I think the currency you end up, receiving is in the form of United States dollars, I think. That's like my loose understanding of it. But this is called the petrodollar. I don't believe that the petrodollar has anything to do with the military forces you to buy and sell using USD, otherwise we'll rape your women and murder your children. It's more just like when people are trading assets, people generally want a common denominator for trade that represents some kind of stable currency. That's why we don't do barter systems anymore. We trade in currencies within countries, right? In the US, I'm not going to trade you, 10 iPads. I was about to say iPod. I'm not going to trade you 10 iPads for 3 cell phones and see what happens to the price of the future. No, I'm going to use dollars. I'm going to use a currency. And I think this is essentially the petrodollar. But yeah, some people say anytime somebody says the petrodollar, you're probably about to hear the dumbest conspiracy shit that you've ever heard in your entire life. Petrodollar is like a lightning rod for retarded fuck conspiracy theories. There's a very strong network effect. Lots of countries internally use the US dollars as well because of how bad the foreign exchange rate for their own currency is. Yeah, that could be true too. I might be totally making this up. I might be completely making this up, but I thought I heard at one point in time that like even people in Venezuela for a while were like trying to get paid in USD if they worked for foreign companies or even within the country. They'd want to get paid in USD because they know that country wouldn't hyperinflate. I don't know if that's true or not. I might be completely making that up, but I feel like I read that at one point in time. What does Saudi have to do with it? I couldn't tell you honestly the structure of any of this stuff. There are a group of countries called OPEC, which is the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. I don't think Saudi Arabia is the head of this. I think they're supposed to all be equal partners, right? But I think Saudi Arabia, has the highest proven reserves. And so they're seen as like a big dick in this. They're seen as like a big dick in the OPEC thing. So whenever people talk about OPEC, they're usually talking about I think they'll say like Saudi Arabia like leads. It's the fact that Saudi regulates its oil output at the U.S.'s behest. I've heard this and I've read in news articles, so I haven't done like big studying yet. But I've read in news articles and stuff that like Saudi Arabia can theoretically control the output, but every time they do, they just get undercut by other OPEC countries. So they really don't have the ability to do that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm only saying that because I've seen that in articles. Is OPEC a cartel? I think arguably, I think definitionally OPEC is a cartel, right? But I think it people are saying Venezuela has the most proven reserves. I think it kind of has to be. Otherwise, bad things would happen. They are called the oil cartel. Okay, there you go. The problem with the cartel is that people get together and they will fuck you over on prices on things because all of them control the price going up and down. But the reality is that if the price of oil is allowed to go too low, it would probably mean really bad things for all of these countries. And if the price of oil goes too high, it would mean really bad things for the rest of the world. So I think arguably having a group of countries that are kind of controlling it for what the price should be is probably a little bit better than either the other two things. Destiny, you are bad at economics. Well, Inner Squill, you're welcome to join the disagreement chat and talk with me about it if you feel like I've said something you disagree with. Speaking of, Id Seti, what do you want?
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, I just had a hold on, let me mute this.
Yeah, you're in the disagreements channel, so good job.
Yeah,
You come to the right place. Josiah's brother.
My disagreement was about the Alex Jones not being right on things.
Okay.
So, I guess you kind of just went over it, but you did say like Alex Jones is not right on anything, and then there's no way that he can kind of like be false flagged, and I just
I don't think I said.
even if
Well,
it's a
hold on.
release-
I don't think I said either
Okay,
of
go
those
ahead.
things. Alex Jones can't be right. I'm sure he's right on some things. He must be, just because of the huge amount of claims that he makes. I'm sure he's right on some things. And then in terms of like
you
he
did
can't.
kind of say that.
Okay, and then in terms of like he can't be false flagged. I mean, he could be false flagged. I don't think there was any evidence he was false flagged on the Sandy Hook thing.
No, I don't think so either. But that is like what these kind of right away people are gonna say. They're gonna like try and prove like the theory of mind stuff you talk about all the time. Like they're gonna try and like fool themselves into believing that this is something that could have happened. And then kind of just like waving it off of like, oh, there's no way he could ever be false flagged, instead of kind of debunking it. I guess like if you're not in like a super debate mode, right? Like you're not gonna like care too much about it.
Okay.
Yeah, that was just pretty much it. Like he could have been false flagged, so you have to take your time to debunk that in a
I'll keep that in mind.
more charitable way, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.